I like being rich. It's fun to make money because it allows me to do a lot of really cool things that I don't think most people ever get the chance to do. I take my private jet, I travel around the world, and I am making memories like a fiend. And you know what? It doesn't really matter whether I'm home base here in Utah or I'm out somewhere else in the world, because guess what? My business follows me wherever I go. You've heard the phrase digital nomad. This is basically a person that wants to be able to make enough money, maybe even get rich while they're out there seeing the world, seeing the sights, getting out there, getting into other cultures and other people. And it begs the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you just choose to become a digital nomad, get out there and then learn how to actually make money while you're traveling and seeing the world? Or do you first have to figure out how to make the money so you can become a digital nomad? Well, today that's what we're covering in today's video.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go!
So I'm here in studio today, right? I just got back from Iceland. I'm just heading out to Japan. And I thought, you know what? Let's be in studio. Let's crank out this video. It's kind of ironic because while I'm here home base, the whole video is about, can being a digital nomad make you rich? Like, is it realistic? Are there people that literally say, you know what, I'm taking my laptop, I'm gonna go somewhere else in the world, maybe somewhere a lot cheaper, and I'm gonna see if I can work remote or have a business or do something different so I can support a really cool lifestyle? Let's find out. Let's get our definitions right. What is a digital nomad? A digital nomad is someone who utilizes the internet to work remotely and live in different locations. This allows them to experience a new culture and environment, along with a much lower cost of living, all while earning a comparatively higher income. Now, this comes straight from Investopedia, and it's kind of like this new phenomenon. It's just something that the last couple of generations have been a lot more interested in, and in today's high-tech world, it's become a very real possibility. Let's take a look at the stats. So what do digital nomads actually do, right? Is it someone that's just doing like social media in the world and they're blogging about it and people are following them? Is it someone that is just working remotely from their job? Digital nomads often pursue freelance work, remote employment, or run their own online business. Some digital nomads also document their travels on vlogs or offer online courses to teach others how to mimic their lifestyle. And you gotta admit, it's kind of seductive looking. Truth is, I'm not really a digital nomad, right? Like, I'm a dad, I've got 4 kids. We've got some level of permanency in our life, even though I've got them privately educated. But the truth is, we are always traveling somewhere in the world. We're always going somewhere. And it does kind of feel nomadic. But the truth is, I now make so much money that I can be nomadic. I don't really need to be nomadic to actually go out there and make money, although I do not mind mixing business with pleasure. The pros definitely make this very attractive, right? You've got flexibility and freedom. You have work-life balance because, listen, it's not like you really want to work. When you've worked enough to make the money you need, guess what you're going to want to go do? If you're in a different foreign country, you're probably gonna wanna go and play. You've got cultural immersion, just learning other people's ways of life. You've got increased independence, and you potentially have low cost of living. Make no mistake, a US salary goes way further in most other countries in the world. Sounds romantic, right? Sounds kind of hot, sounds attractive, but there are some disadvantages that you should be aware of. There are some dangers. Number one, there is gonna be a lack of stability, like, hey, I'm on the other side of the world and my business ain't hustling so hard and I kind of ran out of some dough, what do I do? Or you've got blurred boundaries between work and life. And for some people, that is problematic because it's like, oh, am I working? Am I not working? Am I making enough? Am I not? I'm just having a hard time without structure. Number 3, there's temptation to spend rather than invest. It's like, dude, I just actually did well financially this week, but then I went on this excursion and then I did this thing and I bought that thing. And then number 4, there's that risk of social isolation. Like, if you're a little bit more introverted, socially awkward, and you're not putting yourself out there to meet other people, you might feel very lonely. So it does beg the question, do you get by like this or do you actually get rich like this? The average income for a digital nomad is about $70,000 a year. So you can definitely get ahead. You can use it for building wealth. And if you're in a part of the world where you're only spending, I don't know, $15,000 or $25,000, you actually might be living like this really cool life while saving a ton of money. But for this to work, you're gonna have to be conscientious about high ROI investments. In other words, 401k and IRA is definitely not gonna cut it because on the 30-year average, those produce like 5, 6, 7%. And when that compounds over 40 years, it like goes up a little bit. It doesn't grow very dramatically. You invest in something like real estate, you buy businesses, you own franchises. If that's what you're doing with your savings, then I got news for you. This can turn into something kind of exciting. Kris, this sounds really cool, but I don't know how to be a digital nomad. I don't know what I would do. I got you covered. Just wait for the end of the video. So let's get honest with each other. There are some do's and don'ts with digital nomading. It's like, hey, can I just buy a one-way ticket and go somewhere else on the other side of the planet and like vlog my experience and then hope that I make enough money? You definitely don't want to be a digital nomad on hopium. You want to have something that works. You want to have something predictable. You want to have something that makes you money. And you know what? If you've got a boss on a job where they're like, yeah, you can work totally remote, that might be your ticket. But if not, there's nothing more exciting than a successful side hustle. Something that only takes a handful of hours a day at most, and yet makes you a full-time income or more. And that all comes down to side hustles that deal in the game of marketing. Marketing for small businesses is much more scalable compared to other forms of remote work. When done right, you can earn enough to skip working while traveling and just enjoy yourself full time. Now that's gotta sound a little bit like, come on, Kris, that's too good to be true. But what if I told you that over the last several years, I've helped a lot of people work less than an hour a day and completely replace their job or just make a whole lot more money? Well, that's what a successful side hustle does, and I'll tell you about my favorite one of them right now. Do you remember a few years ago when we had that crazy pandemic and people basically lost their jobs or they were told that they had to work from home, and all of a sudden people became very curious about side hustles. They basically said, this crazy, unpredictable world is not something that I like. I want to create some of my own income. And so I decided to open my mouth and share with people a very simple concept of how do you work from home and make really good money. And I gave it a funny name. I call it 7-figure hustle, because if you play your hand right, you could actually make 7 figures doing this. And there's basically 4 steps to it. One is you find businesses that are trying to grow, but they don't have access to online leads. Like, think about anything that you need ordered around the house. I want someone to mow my lawn. Well, those people are hard to find online. Or I want to redo my kitchen, or I want to epoxy my flooring. And so there's all these services that people go online to look for, but the people that do those services are not really online. And so what I did is I showed people how to use Facebook, how to market their very basic services and generate leads for like pennies, like super, super cheap, sometimes dollars. And then they basically sold those leads to those businesses for buco bucks. They'd get a piece of all the revenue that they made, and then they would just rinse and repeat it. It's a really simple thing. And even today, I've got people all over the world that are using this technology, and some of them are digital nomads. Whether you want to become a digital nomad, or you just want to replace your job income, or you just want to supplement and make more money, check it out. There's an opportunity for you to earn big, but by also saving a whole ton of your time. You know, when I became wealthy at the age of 26 and I quit my job, it's because I was looking for a way to make money without using a ton of my time, a ton of my effort, and a ton of my energy, and I didn't want a ton of risk. And if you want to know how you can do that in today's market, this 7-figure hustle game, it's working for so many people, and it's going to work for you too. If you want to learn more about it, click the link below and let me get you loads of free information of exactly how you do what I laid out before, so that you have the options of not just making more money, but maybe going out there and becoming a digital nomad. You're going to lose your job. Like, you realize that AI is changing everything. The World Economic Forum said by 2025, 85 million people will lose their jobs around the world. And if you want to gain control over your own financial future, I made a video showing you why you're going to lose that job, but what you can do about it. Click here and let me show you.